We often talk about love as the highest ideal, the goal of our lives, the reason we build homes, make sacrifices, and endure hardship. We search for it, long for it, and once we think we've found it, we hold on tightly as if it might vanish if we don't. But in that very act of holding on, something strange begins to happen. Slowly, almost invisibly, love transforms. It ceases to be an offering and begins to feel like a claim, a contract, a possession. We stop loving the person and start owning the role they play in our lives. You might not notice it at first. It begins innocently, with wanting to know where they are, who they're with, what they're thinking. It's disguised as care, as interest, even as affection. But the more deeply embedded this behavior becomes, the more you confuse intimacy with control, presence with surveillance, loyalty with submission. You begin to feel entitled to every detail, every thought, every movement, every choice your partner makes. And when that entitlement is challenged, when they pull away, set boundaries, or express individuality, you don't feel curious. You feel betrayed. But love, true love, is not a transaction built on ownership. It is an experience of recognizing the other as sovereign, as free, as mysterious, as fundamentally unknowable. You do not own the person you love. You witness them. You walk beside them. You celebrate their complexity. You do not reduce them to what they give you or how they serve you. Esther Perel says it clearly: the person you love is not yours. They are in your care for as long as they choose to stay. Let that sink in. Because in a world where love has become synonymous with constant access, where couples share passwords, locations, calendars, and even thoughts, we forget that passion does not grow in the soil of possession. It grows in the wild spaces where wonder still lives, where you can look at your partner not as a mirror of yourself, but as a universe you've only just begun to explore. Desire by nature thrives on distance. Not absence but space. The kind of space that lets you imagine them again, not just observe them. The kind of space that allows you to say, I know you but I don't know everything. And I don't need to. But when ownership replaces love, that space disappears. You stop wondering. You stop imagining. You stop discovering. You believe you already know everything. Every thought, every reaction, every answer before it's even spoken. You no longer relate to your partner as a person but as a role. The spouse, the parent, the dependable one, the predictable one. And that is the death of intimacy. Because what makes love extraordinary is not how much we can hold on to it, but how deeply we can hold space for the other person's freedom, even when that freedom makes us uncomfortable. Even when it challenges our need for control. Even when it means they will never belong to us in the way we secretly wish they would. Real love says, you do not complete me. You expand me. When love turns into ownership, we stop seeing our partner clearly. We no longer hear what they're really saying, only what we expect to hear. Their silence feels suspicious. Their independence feels threatening. Their joy, when it doesn't include us, feels like betrayal. And in response, we cling tighter, demand more, all while wondering why the connection keeps slipping further away. What many people call love is, in truth, fear. The fear of being left, of not being chosen, of being replaceable. And so they grip harder, thinking that the tighter they hold, the safer the love becomes. But that isn't love. That's possession. And possession breeds resentment. You cannot force closeness through control. You cannot build intimacy by demanding transparency. True closeness is born of trust, not surveillance. It's the quiet understanding that your partner chooses you not because they are obligated but because they want to. And that choice, freely made, is what gives love its power. Esther Perel reminds us that the erotic, that sense of desire, vitality, and aliveness, depends on freedom. It is not sustained by routine or obligation. It is awakened by surprise, play, risk, and the acknowledgement that the person in front of you is not fully yours. They are not your emotional servant. They are not your guaranteed supply of attention or affection. They are a sovereign being who every day wakes up and chooses, again and again, to love you. That is what makes love sacred. Not that you captured it, but that it continues to arrive. We must stop using love as a cage. We must stop punishing our partners for being themselves. We must stop measuring commitment by how much of themselves they are willing to sacrifice. Because if someone has to dim their light, shrink their dreams, or silence their truth in order to be loved by you, then what you are offering is not love. It is control dressed in affection's clothing. And yes, we all crave reassurance. We all want to feel secure in love. But security doesn't come from ownership. It comes from emotional safety, the kind that says, I trust you to be yourself. I don't need to own you to feel whole. I don't need to monitor your every move to know I matter. If we want our relationships to grow, we must let go of the fantasy of fusion, the idea that two become one. That illusion is beautiful in poetry and deadly in real life. Because when two people fuse into one identity, someone always disappears. And love cannot flourish in erasure. Instead, we must cultivate what Perel calls separateness in togetherness. We must protect the space where two individuals remain distinct, where differences are not threats but invitations to curiosity. We must remember that attraction isn't born from knowing everything about a person. It's born from glimpsing something new even after years together. If you want to revive love, let go of ownership. If you want to rebuild desire, release the need to possess. Start seeing your partner not as something you have, but as someone you're still learning. Let yourself be surprised. Let them change. Let them grow in directions you didn't expect. Let them become new to you again. Because the truth is, we do not fall out of love because of time. We fall out of love because we stop looking with wonder. So ask yourself and ask with courage, are you loving them, or are you owning them? Because the answer could save your relationship. Not by fixing what is broken, but by remembering what love truly is. Not a contract. Not a guarantee. But a gift, freely given, freely received, and never fully owned.